So guys, welcome to the first session of the CAD Skills tutorial. In the first, second, and third session, we've been able to review the interface to the AutoCAD, and we've also been able to use some basic tools like lines, circles, or snap. We've also been able to set dimension, and on the third tutorial video, we're able to draw a sprocket while using layers and some property on the modify section. So today, we'll be looking at using properties on the modify section like stretch, mirror, fillet, chamfer, and we'll see how they'll be useful for us in drawing several objects in AutoCAD. So the first thing we always want to do is to set our dimension, and today we're going to be working with feet. So to set the dimension, of course, you remember how we do it. You type units on your keyboard and you hit enter. Units, then it's enter. Make sure you're hitting unit and not unite, because unite would give you a different command. So I'm going to go to architecture because I want to use inches and I wanted to give me architectural dimensions today. I would select the first precision, click OK, I'm fine. So let's see the use of the mirror command and how fast it can make our work. I'm going to be drawing a shape, but I want to draw a triangle with an angle of 60 degree in between. So let me draw straight line here and straight line. Then I want the angle within this place to be 60 degree. So in order for me to do that, my polar tracking is not done already, but in case you don't know, this also gives you straight line. Polar tracking is for angle. So turning my polar tracking on, and if I click on the drop down button beside it, you'll notice I have angles selected at intervals of 30 and 60 and 90. That's why I always have a green extrusion once I'm on 60 degree. Now you can see this green extrusion here and you would see angle 60 degree. Another way I could easily get angle 60 degree without using all these, even if my polar tracking is not activated on a 60 degree interval. Let's assume I'm somewhere here. I won't get anything at 60 degree. So I could just hit tab on my keyboard. Tab allows me to switch between dimension settings. So once I hit tab, I can just type in 60 and hit tab again. So with that, it locks my line at an angle of 60 degree, no matter how I move. Then I can just click anywhere. Then hit the space bar to relieve the command, or you can use escape, whichever one. So I'm going to just trim up the edges of this triangle. I would click on my trim. So when selecting a command on AutoCAD, I'm just going to right click on it. Sorry, left click. So after left clicking on the trim, I would get this square cursor. So I'm just going to move somewhere around here. Just click on the line to trim off. The line to trim off. If the square portion is too small, if this square side is too small, there's how you can make it big. I would find a way to show us how to do that on the next video. So this is where the mirror command comes in. I'm going to mirror this triangle to show on the other side, just like a mirror. So to use it, I'm going to click on the mirror command. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Another way to use a command in AutoCAD is you could just type the name of the command on your keyboard. So I could come here to click on mirror. Or I could just type mirror on my keyboard. Then it brings the mirror command. So you say, whichever way, if you know the name of your command and you're finding it hard to locate, just hit it on your keyboard and it comes up. It makes AutoCAD so easy to use. I'm going to click on enter. Now it's telling me to select the object I want to mirror. So I'm going to right click on my mouse and hold it. Sorry, left click and hold it until I bring this green marker to touch all parts of the lines. So I've selected it and I'm just going to hit enter on my keyboard. Then the next thing it's telling me to do is to select the first point of my mirror line. So in selecting the first point of my mirror line, I'm just going to select this line and take it straight. You see, it's mirroring the line to the other side perfectly symmetrically. But if I want the mirror image to have an angle, I could shift my mirror. So you see this projection you are seeing at the middle is like my mirror. So the first triangle is looking at the mirror and it's reflecting, and I could move the projection all around. But I just want to project directly here. So I'm just gonna click here and erase source object. So if I click on yes, it erased my initial triangle. But if I click on no, it leaves it. So that means I have two triangles on the board. So let's try clicking on yes. Can you see that I've erased my first triangle? Then let's do the let's do the mirror command again. Now I'm doing it by clicking on the command here and select the object again, hit enter and select this. Now erase source objects, I'm clicking on no. Then let's mirror this down. So at the end of this video, you would be very good at using the mirror tool. So another way you could easily use your mirror tool is this. You can just easily, let's click on the mirror command again. So before clicking on the mirror command, you can select the shape you want to mirror. So once you select the shape, select everything, then click on mirror. So at this point now, because we selected the shape before clicking on mirror, the only thing we just have to do is to specify our mirror line. We don't need to select objects to mirror again. The only time AutoCAD gives us option to select objects to mirror is when you don't select your object before you click on the mirror command. If you want to see what I'm saying, or if you really don't understand, well, you could just skip this video a little bit backwards and see how we did the first mirror command. So I'm just going to select this line, and you see I have created my mirror. Erase source object now. So the mirror command is very good at replicating images, especially when you have symmetrical drawings. Using the mirror with array would give you a very nice combo. And now, lastly, we're going to see how we could use a path array around this shape to form something. Maybe we could give it a name at the end of this session. I don't have a name for it now, but let's see what we're going to form. So I'm going to draw a circle here. Yeah, now I'm going to select my array command. Now, note that I'm not going to be using the polar array nor the rectangular array this time, but I'll be using the path array. So I'm selecting my path array. First, just like the mirror command, because we didn't select the object first, we have to click on our objects. To select objects, hit enter on your keyboard. And now it's telling me to select my path. So I'm selecting this path. And you can see that I have a circle along this path already. So we could click enter and we have our array. So let's use the mirror tool again. Now that we've mastered, let's select mirror tool first, then select the object, we'll select the array, hit enter, then we'll mirror along this line. Erase source object, no. So you see, we've been able to easily, we can select these two, and we could also mirror along this line. No. You see, we've been able to easily mirror them. Now, remember, if you want to deal with objects on your array, we have to first explode them. So I'm going to click on all the array, then type explode. Hit enter. And I can now delete one of these two circles at the top. Delete this. Then, yes, delete one. Then we can move this to the center. So I'm just to move. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to click on the move here, on the modify. So after clicking on move, I'll select the center of the circle and drop it at the edge of this triangle. So I'll do the same thing here. So instead of selecting move, to bring back my previous command, I'm just going to hit space bar on my keyboard. or enter, whichever one. Select the object I want to move, hit enter, then drop it at the edge here. Then let us use the trim tool to trim off the middle of the circle, then to add dimensions. So I'm going to click on trim. Let's trim off here. Let's trim off everything. Okay, see you after more. Okay, good. So we have our shape, and you could keep forming symmetrical shape with this through array and mirror, whichever you want. So the last thing we're going to do with this is we're going to add dimensions now. And I'm going to go to annotate. Then we're using radius for now because we need to know the radius of the circle. So I'm just going to click here and drop it here. So now I have my radius to be 0.817, but I don't know if it is inches or feet. So in order for me to know, since I am using architectural dimensions from the beginning, I'm just going to type gym style. Then click on modify. And I would go to primary units and I will change this to architectural box precision and hit OK. So you could say now this is 1 inch. The circular radius of 1 inch exactly. And we could use linear dimension. Well, no, let's go with aligned. We could use aligned dimension to check for the length of this weight, which is 8 inches. And we could also do the same to check for width, which is also 8 inches. Then lastly, the height. So this is the height is 1 feet and 2 inches. Then the distance between two circles. So to complete our dimensions, I think let's add it here. The distance between two circles. So which is 3 inches. So this is going to be the end of today's tutorial, and I'm sure by the end, after watching this and practicing, you would be real good with using the mirror tools and using the trim tool and also the path array. You could try them on different works and different examples online. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below in the comment section. Watch out for the next tutorial coming week. Thank you.